Welcome everybody today. We are thrilled to be speaking with another team from the 2020 Invent Oregon cohort. We have Tyler Primavera here with Vmax, and we're looking forward to getting to know you a little bit more, Tyler.
Thanks, Abigail.
Let's start out with what university or college are you representing in Invent Oregon, and what degree program are you in right now?
I'm from the Oregon State University Carlson College of Veterinary Medicine, and I'm working on my Doctor of Veterinary Medicine.
Oh, that's fantastic. I know we'll have a lot of people out there that are pretty jealous that you're pursuing the art of working with all of our favorite household loved ones. That's
I'm very fortunate
wonderful.
to be here.
Let's start out. Tell us more about Vmax. What is the invention you've created? What is Vmax?
So, my dog Eli, before he was named Eli, he was named Max. And we got him off of Craigslist. We adopted him because his previous owner couldn't really take care of him. And he's a dog with skin issues. He wears the cone of shame. He's worn the cone of shame for the past 10 years.
This is the
And I
accessory
don't,
of shame at this point.
yeah. And so I hate wrestling that stupid thing on and off of him because I don't have children, but it makes me feel bad wrestling my furry child and getting that stupid cone on and off of him. No one feels good when they have to wrestle their pet. My idea combines some aspects of origami with the traditional cone to allow pets to easily eat and drink by being able to collapse it using the time-tested technique of origami.
That's absolutely fantastic. A subject that's very near and dear to our hearts at Invent Oregon is how, with design thinking and product design, there needs to be a bit of cross between art and design. You've really captured that in this project. That's lovely. Having this come from such a deep place and being right there in market research in your own household is pretty amazing. How far have you gotten in your first prototype, and where are you hoping to be able to take the next steps on your prototype?
Sure. I've lost track of the amount of prototypes I've made by hand. I think I'm at least at 30 now. And this has to do with consulting experts in engineering and physics to figure out the math. I'm no mathematician. I'm training to be a doctor. I've been working on that along with the materials. And right now I'm speaking to different manufacturers to see how we can build an appropriate prototype. There's only so much I can do with duct tape and scissors, so I'm at that manufacturing step right now.
That's very exciting. I'm curious to know, who's your target market for this? Really, who is going to be looking to buy this? Is this something you're going to put in clinics, or really this is something for the pet owner?
So a little bit of both. A study was done this past year showed that 50% of people buy a product because their veterinarian recommended it. For that reason, I'm going to start primarily in veterinary clinics. I could go the direct-to-consumer route, selling online. It has a higher profit margin, but really I'm more concerned about building that trust with the owner through their veterinarian to give their pet the best care possible.
That's beautiful. You've just touched on this, but what is important about this? Why are you moving with this prototype? You know, see the value in this in society, or contributing to your community, and your community being pet owners.
So perhaps I should clarify first. The cone of shame is commonly used after your pet gets surgery and they have stitches that need to stay in, or they have skin issues. So sometimes pets need a cone for years, sometimes they need it for a few weeks. But either way, this is about protecting your pet. They don't know what's best for them. We try to give them the best. And so this involves doing what's best for them. A lot of pets hate the cone, and it's like a Band-Aid. It doesn't solve the underlying issue, but you need it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hear stories of owners, they don't even put the cone on their dog because they don't want to deal with the hassle of it, and it's just a stressful situation. If you think about it, it's if you had a really bad cut, or if your child or niece or nephew had a really bad cut and you couldn't use a Band-Aid on it because it was too stressful. This is unacceptable. We need something that protects your pet and is easy to use. So this is where the genesis of the smart cone.
I think that's lovely. I'm definitely a consumer of this. I myself, earlier this year, was struggling to get a cone on and off on my own pets. I would definitely have loved an option that didn't feel like I was torturing my little Scottish Terrier. So that's it's lovely. Thank you for coming up with this.
Sure. And when your pet is stressed, you're stressed. So I'm also helping the pets, but also the owners by reducing stress in their life.
Absolutely. One of the hashtag for Invent Oregon is the road to InventOR, because it isn't just Invent Oregon and InventOR, it's because you are all inventors. What are some things that you've learned about yourself or insights that you now have about yourself of what it's like to be an inventor going through this?
So I do a little bit of ballroom dancing, and so this is an analogy that comes to mind. In dancing, in many things in life, there's no straight path. There's a give and a take, an ebb and a flow. And with dancing, if you step on your partner's shoe, that's unfortunate, but you can't just stop and say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't dance at all. I'm going to leave now. You just don't do that. And so the idea is you go with it. Sure, you step on your partner's foot, you miss a cue, you do something silly. Perhaps the audience can't tell, but even if they can tell, just go with it. Just keep trying. And that's what I've really found is through the many different prototypes, reviewing my geometry and trigonometry from over 5 years ago, it's really pushed me to my limits, not in just the breadth of knowledge that I need to think about with geometry, but also animal health. In addition to that, just to keep on going. And honestly, a lot of times I didn't feel like messing around with geometry or plastic. I would sometimes melt plastic in my bathtub. So I would buy a 8 foot by 4 foot corrugated roofing material made out of plastic, and I would pour boiling water on it so I could get plastic that's just the right thickness and pliability. So it's definitely been a bit of a mad scientist here.
That might be the best analogy I have ever heard for what it's like to be an inventor. You just keep going. That's fantastic. You've touched on a little bit about where you want the project to go in the future. Really, where do you see this going? How far do you want to take this within your life and your professional careers as you're taking this journey?
So there's different veterinary conferences and expositions. Veterinary medicine is a very small field. There's roughly only 30 veterinary schools in the United States and not too many veterinarians. And so this is good for products like this because it's very easy to spread the word. I'm hoping that this is one day in veterinary clinics as a alternative to the conventional, cheaply made, hard to put together cone that is traditionally used. So I really just want to help out people and help out their pets. It's frustrating, and I think the frustration isn't necessary.
That's fantastic. What are some of the key takeaways that you've got through being an Invent Oregon? Things that you didn't expect to see through the innovation design thinking process?
First of all, I really appreciate all the time, effort, and money that goes into making Invent Oregon the best experience possible. I was not expecting to have all these different options like the boot camp, having access to coaches, to a designer, to getting my hotel paid for. That's really awesome. Like I said, I'm in veterinary school on clinical rotations. I don't have a lot of time. I appreciate everything that Invent Oregon has done to help me and to help me help other people.
I'm glad you feel like the access has been good for you. We try very hard. I really want to know, is there anything that you've learned about yourself through participating in the competition? I know as an innovator, you explore yourself and get to know yourself sometimes too much that you can melt plastic in your own bathroom. Something you've learned about yourself, but through Invent Oregon, what are some things that you feel like you've gained or developed?
Part of being a business owner or an inventor is about using your resources and relying on other people. Edison developed the light bulb. Edison wasn't a genius. He burnt down his factory. He had over 1,000 different things that didn't work. What made him great is his persistence and the fact that he relied on other people. Sure, I have a background in veterinary medicine. I understand animals and their medicine pretty well, but I'm no engineer. Over these past months, I've been talking to many different engineers, a physicist, a manufacturer, more engineers, business people with businesses. I've had to use a lot of my different resources and to rely on people a lot. The prototype, sure, I did a lot of hard work in making that material, but I couldn't have done it without the countless people I've relied on for help. So, in summary, being an inventor, I've found during this Invent Oregon competition is about relying on other people more.
I'm thrilled to hear that you feel like we give you support. That's something I know the organization at Invent Oregon strives so hard is that once you're a part of this network, you are always a part of this network and always have the support of everyone at InventOR. We hope to be there to back you up and to see you take this as far as it will go and to help thousands of pets and thousands of pet owners in the future. Tyler, thank you so much for being with us. I cannot wait to see you on stage on the 24th.
Thank you, Abigail.
Thank you so much.